Ahoy there! I'm a mentoring expert, and today I would like to talk to you about legislation relevant to a mentoring programme. In this excitingly dry series of webcasts, or webisodes, we'll be taking a look at the Equality Act of 2010, health and safety, and safeguarding. But today I'd like to talk to you about our blockbuster attraction. I am, of course, talking to you about the Data Protection Act of 1998. So pull up a pew, help yourself to a cracker, pour yourself a dry martini, and hop on board. Now, for those not in the know, the Data Protection Act of 1998 defines UK law on the processing of data on identifiable living people. It protects people's fundamental rights and freedoms, and in particular their right to privacy with respect to the processing of personal data. In your role as a mentor, you'll most likely create, receive and send information and documents about your mentee that will be subject to the Data Protection Act. There may also be sensitive information held about you, so it's important to know your rights. Data protection applies to personal information about your mentee, and it's easy to see how quickly information can build an entire picture of someone. Information to be kept safe includes factual information about your mentee. This can include things such as their name, their address, and their phone number. You may also plan to include details on where you have met or where you have planned to have met. So in Darth Vader's case, it may be that you met on a Death Star, it may be that you met on the Cloud City, or maybe even on Death Star 2 or the Forest Moon of Endor. It'll also include opinions about people and your mentee. So he's not a very nice man. And it can also include photographs in which your mentee can be identified. Data protection also covers sensitive personal data such as ethnic origin. I'll see if I can get these right for you. Political opinions, religious beliefs. That's an easy one. Physical or mental health. That was a bad accident on Mustafa. And sexual life. So again, we can clearly see with our additional information how much of a picture we can already glean from this character. All personal data should be held securely by the mentor. You may, for example, have emails with attachments that contain these details, or it may be contained in notes or forms that you have made during your mentoring relationship. In order to comply with the Data Protection Act, you must inform your mentee what you are going to do with their personal information if you have to disclose it for any reason. You should also ensure that no one else can access any recorded personal data within your mentoring relationship aside from yourself. These are a few ways in which you can ensure that you can do this. Firstly, you may want to consider password protecting any documents on your computer relating to your mentoring relationship. Secondly, make sure that you use an email account that only you have access to. And thirdly, you might want to look at password protecting your PC, phone, tablet, whatever you use digitally, to ensure that it is locked when not in use as well. Confidential information and conversations must not be discussed with anyone else. No third party has a right to demand any information within your mentoring relationship. The only time it is permissible to pass on personal data would be in a situation where either yourself or your mentee are put at risk. You should also not hold any personal data longer than is absolutely necessary. At the end of your mentoring relationship, you should shred any paper documents held and delete any relevant documents and emails you may have stored electronically. All this in relation to your mentoring relationship, you may wish to consider the following. For example, your mentee may not be aware of their obligations and rights. You could provide them with a data protection information sheet and add it as a point relating to your mentoring agreement, like a what goes on tour stays on tour clause. Secondly, you might wish to organise beforehand physical and online folders to store your information. And thirdly, if you type up meeting notes, etc., after your meetings, you may wish to delete or shred the duplicate information as you go along, so you don't have such a large backlog. As long as both of you and your mentee are aware of your responsibilities with regards to data protection, there is no reason why this legislation should impact upon your relationship. Join me next week when I'll be discussing health and safety with celebrity expert Alvin Hall. From all of us, happy data protecting.